This is QTV News. I am Ansumana Isonyasi and thanks for joining us. Our headlines. Cabinet members in 2017 approved for Barrow to serve 5 years. VP Ture tells National Assembly. A one-day national stakeholders consultation on transitional justice held. Car accident has left one person dead and another in a critical condition. Officers of the Gambia Police Force Anti-Crime Unit have arrested 4 suspected criminals. And the reigning African women's 200-meter champion, Gina Bass, finished 6th position in the final of the 200 meters in the ongoing World Athletics Games in Doha. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. The Vice President, a member of Coalition 2016, Dr. Aissatou Toure, used the parliamentary debate on the President's State of the Nation address to respond to several issues, including whether her boss, President Adama Barrow, should serve 3 or 5 years. Alusise followed the day-long session and he now reports.
After listening keenly to the interventions of deputies on the President's State of the Nation address delivered on 19 September, Vice President Dr. Aissatou Toure took to the podium to respond to some of the issues raised. On the controversial 3 or 5 year mandate debate, which according to Halifa Sallah of Serekunda, Barrow deliberately ignored, VP Toure and a member of Coalition 2016 revealed that all coalition members who were in cabinet except PDORS had consented to Barrow serving 5 years.
This was discussed in cabinet. The first sitting in cabinet, this was discussed among us. We said this is the first thing that was tabled. And we said, let us discuss this. We have come out of this. We've been using the 3 years as a tactical strategy to get the people together so that we remove this dictator. That's what we said. And here we are now. Let us agree, because 3 years definitely is not the concern there. We may run into crisis. There was nobody in that cabinet who said no to the 5 years that was presented. And I stand to be challenged by any cabinet member who was there. It was done in cabinet. And the president allowed us to debate, to discuss, to move this thing further. And he said, I am here to serve the people. You have to decide. But we did that. So if things have changed and people who were part of that decision-making process are not taking the right or giving the right information, it raises a fundamental question.
VP Toure, whose absence saw MPs suspend the session twice, apologized while thanking deputies for expressing their views, which he said shows the country is now a democratic state. On the ongoing institutional reforms, she said this will help build sound governance structures that will cater for all Gambians, wherever they may be.
A lot of trajectory of things that are taking place. You all know about the plans that we have in terms of the constitutional reforms. The laws that are being revised, you have the policies, you have all the commissions that are in place, all are in response to addressing the difficulties and the anomalies that we have inherited as a nation in trying to protect and move the democracy forward. We need to have some of those institutions, some of those policies and documents to give the new Gambia the feeling and touch of what democracy is really about.
Some members of the public and some MPs have frowned at what they see as selective justice in the implementation of the Janneh Commission report, which was not laid before the Assembly.
Saying that the white paper that was prepared in response to the report was reflected upon very well, and issues came. You may not know everything that is being revealed. You may not know what processes are going on, because it's not possible to come and tell you everything until we reach conclusions with certain things.
Slow as it may be, she added that there are plans to improve all sectors to improve the life and livelihoods of Gambians despite the challenges.
You have the political will and the financial and the technical opportunities are not there. It will not work. So these 3 things have to go together, and we are challenged in some way or the other by one or the other or both.
On sports, she said the government is very much proud of the success registered, citing athletics and volleyball, adding that the introduced sports levy on GSM operators will help in improving sports facilities. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
A one-day national stakeholders consultation on transitional justice was organized by the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. The aim is to provide victims and stakeholders a platform to engage and discuss the ongoing transitional justice process on the effective participation of victims and civil society organizations. Mohamed Lamin Choi tells us more.
The Stakeholders Consultation Forum is expected to bring together relevant stakeholders for the promotion of inclusive and informed victim-centered participations in transitional justice process. The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations in this consultation forum is engaging victims and other transitional justice stakeholders for their recommendations on justice, truth-seeking, reconciliations, and reparations. Representing the Institute for Human Rights Development in Africa, Eric Bezimana believes that placing victims at the center of transitional justice is significant. To him, justice for victims and their families is key in Gambia's transitional justice process. He also holds the view that dispensation of justice is the solution to human rights violations. After many alleged human rights violations by former President Yahya Jammeh's regime, Gambia's Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations was established in 2017 to represent the voices and interests of victims and their families. Adama, the national coordinator with the Victims Center, was asked about the frequent calls of victims.
Some would say they need reparation urgently because some are not working, some are handicapped, some need medical attention, some need reparation cash to be able to fund their families, support their family in essence. Some need medical support. Others need redress. Some really need, even whereas you give them reparation in the form of cash, in the form of money, they still need justice.
Adama also says the recommendations from the Gambia's transitional justice process will inform their decisions for right actions. He explains what the Victims Center intends to do when recommendations from the transitional justice process differ from collective decisions or desires of victims and their families.
If they feel that certain cases are not being handled maturely or adequately, we can see how best we can solve it. But in terms of after the TRRC, in terms of the sustainability, we need to work with partners, civil society groups, government agencies, and international and local partners so that we can forge ahead.
Marong Balde is a relative of a human rights violations victim. She is impressed with how transitional justice is being handled at the moment. Her expectation is for proper dispensation of justice for victims, especially her late husband, Lieutenant Basiru Barrow.
We would really love the perpetrators to be taken to justice. That's what we expect. Any other things that comes our way, we will take it. But the justice, that's what we are crying for.
The center promises to work with government, local and international organizations in the implementation of transitional justice recommendations. The Victims Center also provides counseling services, medical assistance to victims, and advocates for proper constitutional reforms and a safe environment for truth, justice, and reparations. Mahmoud Lamin Choi for QTV News.
Telecoms Regulatory Authority PURA held a press briefing on Friday to shed light on the confiscated mass telecommunication devices it had confiscated, said to have been deployed illegally at a residential address in Fajara. Maria Tussar reports.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, is the Gambia's independent regulatory authority mandated to regulate the broadcasting, electricity, water and sewage, telecommunications, and the petroleum sectors. PURA's mandate means anyone setting up a mass telecommunication facility requires being licensed by the authority. PURA states that for the past 2 months, a mass telecommunications device, which was operating illegally, was detected and confiscated at a residence in Fajara 2 days ago. Nicholas Jata, Director of ITC, explains why operators need to work within PURA's legal framework.
If you are not within the framework of PURA, which means if you are not a licensed entity and you are operating illegally, that means you are actually encroaching into the interest of one of the entities that we regulate. that in this case is the government being denied of revenue, and in another case is also the operator being denied of revenue, because the operator pays licenses, they pay taxes, and they do that with the view and the projection that they are going to go out there and sell their services and products and services to the customers and get revenue.
Ya Amit Toure, Legal Licensing and Enforcement Manager, explains how the issue was dealt with.
As per the enforcement regulation, the authority is empowered to enter into any premises that is operating a telecommunication or that is operating an illegal activity within our regulated sector, to seize and detain these apparatus or equipments as long as we get a warrant from the court. And the regulator then commences the process of going before the Canifing Magistrate Court, obtained a warrant, then solicited the help of the Inspector General of Police to ensure that there's no resistance with respect to when we're carrying out our duties, but also to protect the staff of the authority.
Modu Sompo Sise, Director of Energy and Water, mentioned similar enforcement activities in the petroleum sector to prevent avoidance of government revenue collection.
Mostly it's related to people constructing petrol stations without going through the same permitting process like they're highlighted in the telecom sector. So there's a licensing regime and you need to have permits before you do that. I think all of these things, the common factor is that PURA is here to enforce the law, and we see that there's a lot of economic activity, expansion and investment, but we want to send out a clear message to all investors that, as Nicholas was saying, PURA is here to not only regulate, but also to guide people to make sure they have the correct investment in the right places.
Various communication devices were confiscated, including SIM cards from GSM operators in the Gambia, Senegal, and Sierra Leone. Sola Sima, Director of Consumer Affairs, says such enforcement activities are carried out in various countries, and the Gambia should not be an exception. For QTV News, I am Maria Tussar.
The Sarab Medical Center inaugurated a new biochemistry laboratory with new sophisticated state-of-the-art equipment. The laboratory is funded by the Japanese government to the tune of over 61,000 euros as part of its global health diplomacy strategy. Jennifer Sonko tells us more.
The Sarab Medical Center is part of the leading medical healthcare providers in the Gambia and acquired a grant from the Japanese government to improve its healthcare delivery to Gambians. The center now has new machines that will enable it to provide a variety of tests for over 300,000 people in the Kanifing municipality. The medical director of Sarab Medical Center, Dr. Abubakar Jah, says the new equipment will add a lot of value to the Gambia's health sector, as this equipment is not widely available in the Gambia, stressing that, as a new result, fewer people will travel outside the Gambia for these tests.
We are ready. We are here for the people, and people are coming not only from the Canifing municipality, people are coming from all over the country. Just today in the clinic, if you look, we have seen very many people. Some of them are all the way from Basse and Bansang, coming all the way here to get their medical treatment. So yes, I mean the 300 people from Canifing municipality stand to gain. People from the whole country stand to gain, and if we are able to develop this type of thing, one day we will get people coming all the way from Senegal to here to get some of these tests done. This has been a great success. They are very happy with the way that we progressed with this grant. We have met all the time limits, and they were amazed at the quality of equipment that we were able to bring. So I am sure if there's another chance, they'll be very happy to work with us.
The Japanese ambassador to the Gambia, Tatsu Arai, says it is a pleasure for Japan to contribute towards the improvement of mortality rates in the Gambia.
I wish the center every success in delivering good quality and affordable care to its patients. I also wish to honor the excellent relation of cooperation between Japan and the Gambia.
Baba Jaju, the laboratory technician who was trained in China to use these machines, explains their functions.
This biochemistry analyzer usually would check for the biochemical constituents of the body, and it would do tests like liver function tests, renal function tests, cardiac enzymes, pancreatic enzymes, and lipid profile and the like. It can even test for HbA1c2. So this one would check the biochemical composition of the body, and this one is the immunochemistry analyzer. So we can go right here, and I will briefly go through everything it does. Unlike this one, this is a closed system, and it's an immunochemistry analyzer, and it analyzes mostly hormones in the body, like alpha-fetoprotein. You can check for FSH, LH, which are fertility enzymes, and it can also test for HbA1c2. It can test for infectious disease like hepatitis and HIV, and prostate-specific antigen, PSA. And given that this is a urology clinic, that is one of the most important things we would definitely need from this analyzer.
The chairman of the Q Group, Mr. Mohamed Jah, applauds the services of Sarab Medical Center, stressing that he doesn't regret having Sarab as Q Group's healthcare insurance provider.
Sarab Medical Center have provided the people of the Gambia with top-of-the-range diagnostic equipment, medical equipment. Of course, I just wore the medical suit because I went into the lab because Korka told me that he wants to see me as a doctor. But you know, what we are after, we are clients. The Q Group of companies have a full medical scheme for its staff and the members of the families of the staff. And the scheme is being run by Sarab Medical Center, and we are quite happy with the way they are running the scheme for us. The entire staff and their families are very happy because they are giving the proper medical care at the end of the day. We always say that if you are not healthy, then you cannot walk. You have to be healthy first, and that is why the Q Group gives health a big priority.
Director of Health Services Mustafa Abite says there is a need for public-private partnership in the health sector, as the government cannot do it alone. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
And from that report by Jennifer Sonko, we take a short commercial break. The news continues when we return.
Fahamuniro mi yalonko wolebe keri mimbe dending sunju kurang le kahome ko cancer Barrow Medical Center ye kibar kuma bale sotale mi yalonko lebe dending nyin sunju kurang la mimu kansati. Fale alone ko musol be mantanka nying sunju kurang la mimu kansa nyinti bari min yalon ko atari ko abe wolle bala ay kaboy la dimbayal bulu ani musol min yanko siobe sanji tan lulu nyong e ase wolle batandino baake ka jawya wolma musu wuli keme jamalu sawo sang dunia mu mebe kono wolle niyo katu hakela nying kansa kurang la minka sunjo muta musu jamal kafa mim yalon ko kanying breast cancer sodo wole mu cancer timbe sunjo nyin kono katu ko kurango nyin jama ibuka kalamuta juna faye dungila famfanke na jamfe balo kono masungole soto na minka sunjo jibe ka natal womu masin kende balete mi yalon ko ase makoy ro kenole ka tala ro ke nyin sunju kuran la mimu breast cancer ti adum fanan school soniata baake ka fanko kunya nyin soniyandima anin bundale anin masakundaye woto dun ni atara dun isobita ko nyin sunju cancer bela fere ke eta Barrow Medical Center bi pour masingo mi yalon ko lebe sunjo natalla ni lafta ko nyin lona dun aka kenyadile nyin nombalu kumandi 3925639 wala 9925639 wala 7773500 wala allié email info@barrow.gm.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell QPower code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
QPower, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. One person is confirmed dead and another is in a critical condition after being knocked down by a car at Tipper Garage, Bakote. The incident happened on Thursday when the driver of a private vehicle is alleged to have lost control and plunged into a workshop. Ibrahim Balde visited the scene and he filed this report.
The vehicle crashed into a workshop at Tipper Garage along the Bakote Sukuta Road. An old man selling timber by the roadside died at the scene and the injured were rushed to the hospital. Residents in the area have complained that most of the drivers who ply the road always overspeed. Seka Conte, a resident, said the accident has left him in a state of shock.
When I was in my house watching the TRRC, then I had a big impact outside until my television lights was flashing because of the impact. At first I thought that maybe a container have fallen down and I had a scream on the road. So when I come out, I saw a big dust smoke coming. Then all of a sudden I saw a car under the veranda. So when I look at the other side, I saw they picked another man on the ground, another man also on the roadside, which the forehead was cut and the face was all over with blood. So the place was so chaos, so tense, that at the moment I don't even know what happened. But the driver, I found him inside the vehicle with the wife, so I personally managed to take them from the vehicle and break a taxi, and we put them in by the help of one police officer.
He urged the authorities to help control the traffic to avoid such situation.
From your own point of view, what do you think leads to this situation?
Well, according to people who are on the road, all say that it is because of the high speed that the driver was coming with, because he don't follow the line. He went off the line, he was taking the footpath. So I believe maybe all of a sudden he might lose control.
Dauda F5 was also at the scene, and this is what he said.
Actually, I was coming from Kersering, so I decided to use this lane so that I could get to Serekunda very fast. But I could see that immediately I was just coming towards Sanchaba, next to Sanchaba Johnson here. I find a vehicle was just coming from Serekunda on my far left that was a little bit overspeeding and could not stand it. And then he rose to, one man was just next here coming from a shop and he hit that guy. So in a matter of he lose a control, that led him to be inside that ditch there where it happens to be one man's welding shop and a carpentry workshop. Yeah.
According to data published by the World Health Organization, in 2017, the Gambia recorded 606 road accident deaths, being 4.1% of all deaths in the country, and making the Gambia the 8th worst in the world for road traffic accidents. The latest road accident perhaps should serve as a grim reminder to all road users and more especially to drivers to be cautious when using our roads. Ibrahim Abalde, QTV News.
Officers of the Gambia Police Force Anti-Crime Unit have arrested 4 suspected criminals in connection with theft and breaking into private properties within the Kanifing municipality. These arrestees, currently in police custody, are said to be suspects who were allegedly involved in robbery. According to the police spokesperson, ASP Lamin Jai, the anti-crime unit were tipped off by a complainant that there was an attempted robbery at his house and that one of the suspects left his phone at the crime scene as the suspects flee. Following investigations, the suspects were arrested and, according to police, have admitted to several theft cases within the Kanifing municipality.
They admitted to the police that they have been involved in a series of breakings and stealings that have been taking place around the Bakote Tipper Garage area. In fact, as we speak, about 4 individuals had come forward to tell the police that they have experienced break-ins that had taken place within their area. And these people have actually admitted that they were the very people who had conducted those break-ins. At one shop, they were able to steal about 55,000 worth of mobile phone and accessories, as you can see here. And also in another shop, they took away a laptop, and also, which actually that place is a forex bureau, and so they took foreign currency amounting to $1,000. Also, there is another shop that they broke into where they took a sewing machine from.
The suspects have been charged with housebreaking, stealing, and attempted housebreaking. The police PRO ASP Njai says investigations revealed that the suspects were also involved in other theft cases and urges anyone with information relating to theft cases within the Kanifing municipality in the past few weeks to report the matter to the nearest police station. And now to sports. The reigning African women's 200-meter champion Gina Bass raised the Gambian flag to another level in the ongoing World Athletics Games in Doha by making the 200 meters final, where she finished 6th. Babukar C looks at her performance.
The Gambia's track queen has done it again, this time not on the medal podium, but in being the only African to compete in the women's 200-meter finals at the World Games in Doha. The 24-year-old struggled to make her mark in the women's 100-meter, bowing out in the semis. In the 200 meters, however, Miss Gina Bass made amends and finished a credible 6th, clocking 22:71, just outside her season's best. At the age of 24, Gina Bass has what it takes to be a major force in African women's athletics for a long period, as we have seen many of the current sprinting greats are still finishing on the podium into their late 20s and early 30s. After putting her woes in the 100 meters behind her, where she failed to qualify for the final, she stepped up well in the 200 meters and made it into the final as one of the fastest losers from the semi-final.
The only thing that I will need to do is to rest and wait for tomorrow. God knows the best.
Then came the 200-meter finals, where she lined up with 3 Americans and Britain's Dana Asher-Smith, who ran off with the goal.
Straight, the Americans either side of her, Bryant and Brown. Asher-Smith holding her form. Has she got the strength here? She's moving away. Dina Asher-Smith, the best of British, is finally on top of the world. 21.89. It's history for Great Britain.
I'm really happy about the performance. I really thank God for it.
So what's next for you?
As now, I'm going to close my season and work for next season, Tokyo 2020.
Gina's next target has to be preparing for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, hailing as she does from a country that gives greater prominence to football. She is breaking down barriers and bringing smiles to the hearts of a sport-loving nation. Babukar C, QTV News.
And before we end this bulletin of the news, here's a recap of our main stories. The Vice President, a member of Coalition 2016, Dr. Aissatou Toure, has used the parliamentary debate on the President's State of the Nation address to respond to several issues, including whether her boss, President Adama Barrow, should serve 3 or 5 years. A one-day national stakeholders consultation on transitional justice was organized by the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violation. One person is confirmed dead and another is in a critical condition after being knocked down by a car at Tipper Garage by Kote. The incident happened on Thursday when the driver of a private vehicle is alleged to have lost control and plunged into a workshop. Officers of the Gambia Police Force Anti-Crime Unit have arrested 4 suspected criminals in connection with theft and breaking into private properties within the Kanifing municipality. And the reigning African women's 200-meter champion Gina Bass raised the Gambian flag to another level in the ongoing World Athletics Games in Doha by making the 200 meters final, where she finished 6th. That brings us to the end of this newscast. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Bye for now.